All right. Well, this is a Weiler Brothers podcast again, coming at you live. It's been a little while. I went on vacation to Colorado, went on some adventures. It was fantastic times. And we're back at it, though, tonight. And Jeffrey, what do you got going on, man? What's happening over there?
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're out here at the show. We got on the sidecar over here. Just coming in loud and clear in Beaumont, Texas over here. I'm happy y'all got back safe from y'all's mountain adventures. I hope y'all got some good pictures and stuff. Did y'all get some good footage, some good images and stuff y'all got down there?
I guess it was more about just mining, man. I took a couple of really interesting pictures because of where we were. We were in this area called the Sentinel Trail. And it's outside of Colorado Springs, and we went up there and did some mining and stuff like that. Mined some Amazonite.
Neat. So what part of Colorado is that? Is it like the center?
It's, right outside of Colorado Springs. You could see over the top of Colorado Springs and see the entire town.
Beautiful.
It's really cool. It was very similar view to Pikes Peak, but not quite. It's a little below Pikes Peak. Well,
it sounds like an interesting area. It's got a really cool history out there. They the claim. Who was the guy that they were the lady you got the tour from, or y'all went up there to see? She had a conflict with that guy. What was his name?
Oh, I'm not gonna get into all that.
Okay.
But yeah, that was her other claim. But we did go out there.
Oh, I thought that was the one y'all went to.
We went out there again. Look there. It's Halloween already. What are you doing there?
Well, he's not going to get Halloween this year.
Dude, I don't know.
Well, the government's canceled Halloween. We probably want to abide by all that in Beaumont since
it's Beaumont.
I mean, really, we're really not that affected, honestly, by all this mess. I mean,
not a lot. I mean, it's outrageous. It was awesome where we were in southern Colorado because nobody gave a crap.
Well, we got the masks still going on, but I mean, I've been, most of the time I just don't wear one. I'll go up in there and do what I need to do. I mean, and if I do, I'll just, after I walk in, I'll pull it down and go about my business.
People are mostly doing that more and more. I see more and more people that are just done with it. It's silly. And anyway, we've talked about this mask thing ad nauseum. I'm done with it. But what's going on in the world today, man?
Well, I think it's an interesting little tidbit. Y'all are talking about the y'all's camera. Y'all are having a hard time getting that replacement or a newer camera in. And I saw on Zero Hedge a few days ago. It was a really interesting article.
Got some crazy faces.
What was it? It was on Zero Hedge's articles talking about the problem with the shipping industry right now. It starts off and it says, "I've never seen anything like this. Shippers using West Coast ports can't book rail on BNSF Union Pacific." Now this is on, I know this is on the 13th. So I don't know if this has been relieved or alleviated in any amount so far, but I don't know if you've noticed in convenience stores and places like that, they don't have T-shirts and small items. And I'm suspicious that one of the reasons that you weren't able to get that camera is that in the
go down a little more.
Part of it. So basically, what it entails is this ad.
All this crap.
I know. I'll go back to it. Hold on.
Yeah, now you've done it.
It's Zero Hedge. I mean,
Get rid of that Zoho ad, man. That crazy ad right there. Hit that X there, please. Thank you.
Okay. The results of the research was that the railroads will not take any booking right now, and so all the containers going to and from the West Coast to places such as Chicago and Memphis must go by truck. The consultant cited the following truck rates per container as examples: Los Angeles, Long Beach to Chicago, $7,000. LA to Wisconsin, $6,700. It goes all the way up.
There goes all your profit.
to 8,000. This is through the trucking industry. And let me see if
The
I'll find the
shipping
part.
costs are fixed to be outrageous.
And the shipping, this is okay. Now, the consultant said that in the past it had been possible for the truckers to coast $2,000. So, but those days are gone. So you could ship a container from the West Coast to Chicago by rail. This on a train car for $1,000. So those prices have gone up to. And it says that if those prices are way higher up, I think they're up to $3,000 or something like that. It's a long article. Let me find it. It says, yeah.
That's okay.
So Stephen added, Union Pacific also has used increasingly expensive surcharges in California. First $500 per container, then $1,500, and now a record $3,500. The Journal of Commerce reports that tell potential low volume customers to hit the highway, which if you hit the highway, you're going to be paying like almost $9,000 per truckload. And I don't know if anybody else, but I've seen it. I was looking in the convenience stores, and they don't have any T-shirts. They don't have any small items that are coming from the West Coast. Okay, now there's some interesting parts to this that I was looking up. So I was like, okay, so you've got BNSF and Union Pacific. They're the two kings of the railroad right now. Okay, so who owns BNSF? Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
Berkshire Hathaway. We're talking about Warren Buffett and Bill Gates.
Yes.
Okay, so they're dragging their butts.
So wait a minute. Where does it? How do you know that BNSF is run by Berkshire Hathaway? I want to see that. I mean, you say that, but I want to see where it says Berkshire Hathaway.
Boschkes.
Holy
BNSF owned by Berkshire Hathaway, and everybody knows Berkshire Hathaway is owned by Warren Buffett, and by and large, Bill Gates.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so keep going.
So we'll go back to the previous article. Let me get this full screen move over. So, in basically what's happening here is it shows in here that it says the only way that people are able to get it through was through Costco, which we all know Costco is owned by the Chinese government.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Costco is owned.
I never go to Costco. I didn't know it was.
No, I've never been to a Costco either, but remember,
rarely. I actually got a gift certificate or a card or some kind of crap, a membership. I got a membership for Christmas one year, and so I went in there, and I was like, "This is weird and weird." So you're saying that Costco is a Chinese-run company?
Another strange, connecting the dots, connecting the dots here. I don't know if you remember the documentary from Alex Jones. It was something. It was one of the earlier documentaries. I don't know if you remember the Alex Jones documentary from, I guess, the early 2000s, where it was like Empire Destroyed by Design, one of those early documentaries.
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
So he went to California and he looked at the westernmost deep water port. And he had thrown a shit fit because we had leased out that port to China. It was a 10-mile pit stop.
I remember hearing him rant about that years ago.
Yeah, and it's Costco. It's a gigantic Costco warehouse over there, and that's where these railways have to go to.
So what you're saying is that the Chinese government gets a better deal on rail than everybody else?
Well, yeah, they do because they own the shipping. Another big part of this is our deep water shipping industry is derelict. It's dead. We don't have global shipping anymore. The United States doesn't
Ah,
have any
really?
um,
Really?
massive tankers ships anymore. Where they're
What?
dead. It's gone. Um,
Really?
yeah, it's a big
Like the
scandal.
Exxon doesn't have a tanker ship.
No, no, they
What?
don't have any.
They just
They have
lease them
none.
from other countries?
It's all built by foreigners now. There's a big problem with it, and this has been going back for years and years. That our international shipping has to. There are laws that is intertwined with the merchant marines,
Yeah.
and I've looked into this, and it creates a bottleneck in our industry because it is not. I mean, it's intended to be a good thing, but it's one of those things that has had unforeseen consequences because the shipping industry has died because of it. You have to have 100% a ship that's made 100% by the United States, a crew that's 100% United States crew. I mean, on the surface, it sounds all great, but it's really broke our neck. And
Oh,
there's nobody in the United States building uh, deep sea vessels anymore. So our shipping industry is solely dependent on foreign vessels. So we
wow.
basically,
It's almost like the same situation could happen that happened with these masks at first when they first came out. I mean, like them or love them. I'm just saying, as far as from an industry standpoint, where they were completely out because the only place that made them was in Puerto
mhm.
Rico, I want to say, and that's what got hit by the hurricane. So that was all wiped out. And so the only other place other than China that made masks, and it was something else. It was like a lot of medical equipment was in Puerto Rico. And
Yeah,
nowhere in the continental United States are we making this. Are you kidding me? So
and the
all these textiles,
medications too.
you think, oh, textiles have moved overseas and stuff like that. That that's such a if you're not making your products here, or if you're at least localized a little bit, you're putting yourself in grave danger, in my
Mhm.
opinion, as a country, as a nation, and everything. I'm all for free trade, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to buy something from China if you want to. That's also something I'm pretty passionate about. Is you got to make sure that everybody can do what they're going to do, but at the same time, there has to be an option. There has to be a level playing field when you're dealing with the economy, because it's not a level playing field right now. It's a perfect example is what you were talking about just there with the Costco, is that there is certain advantages that are being given to certain entities, corporations, countries, whatever it is, that are playing ball in this cabal, whatever you want to call it, ball in the cabal.
Uh-huh.
And it's just it's something that both of us know a lot about because we've studied it for a long time, and we see this entire pandemic come through, you know and through that lens, I guess you can say we've seen it through that lens. We've seen it that because we already kind of saw it, and then we're looking, we do look for chinks and cracks, because a lie is easy. You can figure out a lie if you really start looking at it from every angle. That's a nice carrot, some really nice looking carrot, man.
Well, it's a matter of national security too, because what nation would, you know,
Well,
think of
yes,
themselves as dead?
and yes, there, and I agree that it is a matter of national security, but at the same time, that's something that's handled on a national level. What I don't think that the merchants should be handled at a national level. That's the whole situation. I think it should be more of a freer market,
Hmm.
uh, period. And if then you wouldn't have this problem. The Chinese wouldn't be able to get in there if it was an even playing field, or they would. And if they did, they would not have any kind of advantage of driving their ass all the way across from China unless they brought, they lowered the prices. And then all that does is make everybody else do the same thing, I guess. But
Hmm.
that's kind of part of the whole economy, man. And the only reason why they are making all this crap is because there's a demand for it. And so, if if you're buying, you're spending your money on the things that there's a market for, and they can sell it for cheaper because they don't have to pay a wage because of their living conditions there. And so this equality thing that they keep preaching, that's what I guess we're all going to be equally slaves. I guess that's what.
That's what they don't realize. They don't get it that
Yeah.
these
Or they do get
these
it.
groups. Some of them do, but
And they
the
think they're
LeBron
going to be on
James
the other
world
side
don't.
of this.
They don't necessarily. Maybe they have been informed of it, but I don't think that some of these people would be destroying our nation so easily for
Yeah.
Nike and the NBA and
Well,
NFL.
those people are just making money. They're spokespersons for a particular ideology, and that's pretty much it. Uh, yeah, they're a spokesperson for an ideology. They're being paid. Their financial interest are in making sure that uh, that certain propaganda is portrayed or China is portrayed in a
Mm-hmm.
good light,
Yeah.
and because they are heavily invested in the Chinese market with their basketball, because there's more of them than us, frankly. And no, I'm serious. That is exactly what it is. I mean, if you're looking at it from
So
a
in China,
business,
as far as China goes, there's more people in
yeah,
China.
absolutely. There's more of
Yeah, the
them than
market.
us.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
The market is just there's just a bigger market, and so
Well, I mean, what is the popularity of American basketball in China?
it's
Though? I
pretty
mean,
big. It's pretty big, especially in Beijing. Well, Yao Ming is the reason. Yao Ming was the player that they genetically engineered. You remember him? You remember
yeah.
that Yao Ming? You
Oh, yeah.
watched basketball,
One of my
and
favorite all-time favorite
one of the
basketball
best
players.
players I've ever watched play the
When
game.
I
And
when I when I enjoyed watching sports.
yeah, back before they actually started talking crap about people's political views for some reason.
You know,
So anyway, long story short, yeah, after Yao Ming, the market in China is huge,
wow.
Mr. Bugs Bunny.
I guess it's more
And they
so.
had a guy that kind of died down a little bit, and there was this guy named Jeremy Lin that came on the scene, and that kind of brought it back up again. And yeah, there's definitely a following and a large following over there.
I guess it's more so the NBA than the NFL or Major
Exactly.
League Baseball.
That's why you're seeing a lot more from the NBA, because the NFL is just, their problem is corporations. See, the FedEx Field is the reason why the Redskins changed their name. It wasn't because the guy feels that way. He doesn't feel offended. The people of Washington, D.C. don't feel offended. But the indigenous people, I think it was something like 80 something percent of the indigenous people didn't think it was that big of a deal.
You know the
And
guy who designed the logo, the Redskins, Washington Redskins logo.
he was a Native American, yeah.
Yeah, his grandson was very upset. His grandson was so upset that they changed the logo. His grandfather, that was one of the most proud
Prideful. Yeah,
things that he'd ever done, his accomplishments in his life was designing the Washington Redskins logo. That's just sad, man.
it is. It's the same thing with the Aunt Jemima lady. It's the same thing with the Aunt Jemima lady. She was one of the first black models. It was a groundbreaking event. She
She was one of
what
the
was
first black millionaires in the country.
He was the first black model, and she was very proud, and her family was very proud of her. And there, when you buy your syrup, I mean, there's always consequences to these things, and I don't understand why one person's offense lets you violate the rights of these people that wanted to enjoy their thing. And maybe maybe this was all just the way I look at it from a business standpoint, once again, is they wanted to change that anyway. You know what I mean? They didn't want an old black lady on their syrup anymore. They've had it for 60 years, and they used this as a way to get change their marketing. They use this as a way. They saw a window of opportunity to change the marketing that they probably already wanted to change anyway.
And just
And they
use
were
it as
trying to find a way out. They're like, well, we can't take Aunt Jemima off of there. People might get mad.